I need to know how Skynet gets built. Who's responsible?
The man most directly responsible is Miles Bennett Dyson.
Who is that?
He's the director of special projects at Cyberdyne Systems Corporation.
Why him?
In a few months, he creates a revolutionary type of microprocessor.
Go on. Then what?
In 3 years, Cyberdyne will become the largest supplier of military computer systems. All stealth bombers are upgraded with Cyberdyne computers, becoming fully unmanned. Afterwards, they fly with a perfect operational record. The Skynet funding bill is passed. The system goes online on August 4th, 1997. Human decisions are removed from strategic defense. Skynet begins to learn at a geometric rate. It becomes self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time, August 29th. In a panic, they try to pull the plug.
Skynet fights back.
Yes, it launches its missiles against the targets in Russia.
Why attack Russia? Aren't they our friends now?
Because Skynet knows that the Russian counterattack will eliminate its enemies over here.
Jesus.
You ever get the feeling that everything in America is completely fucked up? You know that feeling that the whole country is like 1 inch away from saying, that's it, forget it. Let's see,
Hey,
we're
twist
on,
around. Now look, here's a house full of
92
bees.
FM, it feels like
You think the
nice
honey
cool
badger
little
cares?
bands
It doesn't give a
on.
shit.
Listen, let's get one thing straight.
Price is right.
Guns don't kill people.
Guessed it.
I do.
May run out of time on this show episode. You know, that's not impossible. So check out Liberty Street Podcast.
Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit?
I think some apologies are in order.
Pixies?
Yes.
Is that off Surfer Rosa album?
It is on that album, but it was from their album before that, their first one,
Okay.
1987.
Yeah, I knew it was like old Pixies.
Yeah.
I love the Pixies so much.
It's hard to pick a song because we always try to pick something that's a little more obscure.
Thank you for not playing Here Comes Your Man, which is a great song.
Dude, I almost did. I was like,
It's a
God
great
damn,
song.
this is such a good song. And then I was like, oh, Caribou, God, that's a fucking great song. Or, you know, just go down the list. Like, There Goes My Mind. And like,
Yeah.
I was like, it almost doesn't matter if it's an obscure song or not. Like, every single song of theirs is just so goddamn good.
Yeah, they're a great band. The first band I was ever in high school, we covered Here Comes Your Man.
I remember your brother's band covering Allison.
Yeah, that's a great song. That's one of my
Yes.
favorite Pixies songs.
That's a great song. So, what do you think the best Patrick Swayze movie is?
Besides Roadhouse?
You going Roadhouse?
Oh, Red Dawn.
Yeah. So Patrick Swayze, when you ask that question, it's funny because you keep remembering movies that he was in. They were great fucking movies.
Yeah.
Like
Ghost.
Outsiders.
Oh, I meant
Ghost.
The Outsiders. That's what I meant to say. You know, the clay wheel scene.
Oh, yes. When Demi Moore and Whoopi Goldberg make out. That's hot. There's Point Break.
Point Break, great one.
Right. You mentioned Roadhouse. Donnie Darko, great movie.
Oh, that's right. Isn't Donnie Darko?
Yeah. Creep.
That might be, because that's one of my favorite movies. That's such a great movie.
Such a good movie.
But I don't think I could knock Red Dawn out of number one, because when I was a little kid, we were obsessed with that movie.
Well, there may be a movie that's not on your radar. And when you ask this question, not many people give the response, Steel Dawn.
Steel Dawn.
Came out after Red Dawn.
Really?
Of a nuclear war.
Is this like a loosely affiliated, trying to cash in on a franchise or something, or is it even
Out of the
related?
ruins of a nuclear war,
Wouldn't put it past them.
through a landscape of unearthly beauty and unknown terrors, and into a world struggling against the forces of nature and the forces of evil.
I am the authority in this valley.
A legend is born.
You shouldn't play with sharp objects.
The legend of a man with no name and no home.
You like being mysterious, don't you?
A warrior trained in the ancient art of combat.
A man needs his exercise.
A hero for a new civilization.
My father's did know. He was a commander.
I knew it.
He is all that stands between those who would rebuild and those who would destroy.
Cut the boy's throat.
This is his challenge. This is his triumph. Patrick Swayze is the soldier of destiny.
Do you feel safe now?
Yes.
Steel Dawn, the legend begins.
Pretty sure it ends there also.
I totally remember this movie. And me and my brother watched it when we were kids. This is like right up our alley.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, isn't it kind of interesting that the very large overlap between dystopian movies and how they all dress like they're in metal bands?
Yeah. Well, have you seen the movie The Fall Guy, the new one?
No.
So it takes
Is that like Ryan Gosling or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes place on a movie set for this movie called Metal Storm.
Oh, dude, I totally remember Metal Storm. Wait,
What?
Metal Storm was a movie too.
No.
Yes.
A real movie?
Yes.
Stop.
Here, I'll look it up.
All right. Well, the whole shtick of the movie is like how awful the movie actually is, but no one can really admit it, and they just try to get the just the perfect one take fight scene and the perfect rain and all the perfect stunts, and it's just
Yeah, Metal Storm, The Destruction of Jared Sin is another one of my me and my brother's favorites. If I remember correctly,
So they ripped off?
The guy didn't have an arm. He had this weird like robotic attachment that like squirted this like low budget acid and like perfectly landed people's eyes.
he's a
Dude, we should have my
Dictator on
brother
the
on here
budget.
right now. He would remember all this.
dude.
stuff.
I can't believe they stole the name Metal Storm for the Fall Guy movie. That's fucked up.
Did they?
Like, well, it's not the same movie,
No,
so they just
but it's like Fall Guy dot Metal Storm.
well remember watching the Fall Guy when you were a kid, right?
Yes.
Lee Majors, who I met once, was a fucking awesome guy. Had a wife that was about 30 years younger than him. He was a stuntman, so he was always in the movies. So the TV show, The Stuntman, kind of hovered around movies. And so the movie, The Stuntman, or The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling, hovers around this movie that his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, is making, and it's called Metal Storm.
Right.
And it's just ridiculously terrible, but kind of awesome at the same time. But they couldn't come up with their own original name. Hollywood doesn't have an original fucking bone in their bodies.
They recycle the same movies, but they'll let's make Ghostbusters with chicks or something like that.
Exactly.
It's like, and then it flops. And it's like, we thought this movie would do well. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
No, exactly. They lack originality and they can't see outside of their bubble.
No.
Right? Like they are the most echo chambered people ever. Look how terrible Hollywood's doing now, too.
Yeah.
Right? No one wants to watch any of their shit anymore. All they can do is recycle old movies or come up with movies about Hollywood themselves and just jerk each other off.
Or remake superhero movies over and over and over again.
Oh, there's no end of the superhero movies. That's all they do now. Like, there's got to be more. Jesus
Holy
Christ!
shit.
Can
Bird just flew into the window.
attacking us. Wow, I think he's okay.
Ever since those fucking magnetic poles, man.
I'm telling you,
Everything's been awry.
it's not just bees that navigate using the geomagnetic sphere.
Echolocation.
I gotta tell you this. I was at that wedding this weekend, and I got to see all of my cousins.
Right.
It was awesome. And one of my cousins has twin daughters, and they're both, I think they're seniors in college.
Yeah.
Right now. And it's the first time I'd seen him in probably 15 years. But his one daughter was telling me that she hasn't written a paper in 3 years.
Really?
She's about to graduate college.
AI?
Yes. So she just takes all of her notes, feeds it into AI, and AI writes the fucking paper.
I was thinking about that because I was listening to, I think, a podcast about AI and the usual, it's going to replace everyone and the whole thing. But they were talking about AI.
It's definitely going to replace homework.
Yeah, AI and education. They're like, teachers are like, yeah, it's more effective on the offensive front than the defensive front because now they're developing, ironically, AI programs to read if something's an AI generated paper, for example. And it's this constant, like, kind of cat and mouse game.
An arms race.
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny because, well, first I thought, like, what the fuck? Like, are we all just going to outsource all of our intelligence and our thinking and our creativity to AI? I mean, you and I have done it. I've done it for the T-shirts that we make at libertytreelifestyle.com. And it's a lot of good new ones on there right now. You should go check it out. And I've done it we did it for the music that we wrote to make fun of conspiracy theories. And it's like, yeah, why wouldn't you? Like, you and I aren't going to take the time to sit down with instruments and write a fucking song. We want to make a joke, just spit it out. Like, we've totally outsourced the creativity to AI. And on one hand, I can see the benefit of it is that it's like you can do so much more with so much less energy, right?
Yeah.
Like plowing a field. When you used to have to walk behind a fucking ox, you couldn't do that much. Once you got a tractor, now you could do so much more, so much less energy. Obviously, there's, like Thomas Sowell says, there's no good or bad. There's just trade-offs. So we don't know if, we could go down that rabbit hole of the fucking John Deere tractors now that you're not allowed to work on yourself. And even if you could, you have to have a degree in computer programming.
Total monopoly.
Yeah. So it's not all upside, but maybe there's an upside to this.
It's like
AI
my mom with her new Volvo SUV. She goes, hey, something's wrong with my battery. Can you check it out? I lifted the hood. I'm all... Oh,
yeah, I know.
I'm pretty familiar with how a car works. Like, I got nothing.
Yeah, I ran into that with my wife's car. She got stranded out in the middle of Napa, and which isn't the worst place in the world to be stranded, but middle of the night with my kids. So I had to drive all the way out there, and I had this plan. She described what was going on, and I figured out her battery was probably dead. Or no, the alternator was dead and wasn't charging the battery. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a fully charged battery out there and some jumper cables and just like figure out a spot to put the battery, hook the thing up, and then I'll drive it. She can drive my truck. I'll drive it home.
Yeah.
And I go to find the battery, same thing. Like, where the fuck's the battery? I finally find it under the passenger seat.
That's where my mom's battery was.
And I can barely see it. You can't get to it. You have to take the goddamn seat out to get to the fucking battery. Ugh, fucking AI, dude. I'm telling you. But yeah, let me wrap up real quick. I was talking to somebody who works at the junior college, and she was saying that the teachers there are incapable of teaching AI. So they've all come of age after before AI was a thing. And so kids want to use AI, kids want to understand AI, and none of the teachers understand it. So they can't really tell the kids how to use it. And all the kids know how to use it. And so it's this totally lopsided like balance where none of those teachers know if you're using AI to write a paper or not. There's no way for them personally to be able to tell. And they also don't know how to actually engage with kids and AI. AI is happening so quickly that the teachers are just kind of at a loss there. I thought that was kind of interesting and kind of scary. I'm kind of sad for the loss of kids having to write papers.
I always loved when I went to college, I had to write, all we did was write papers. I always really enjoyed it.
Me too.
I just, because I enjoyed the subject that I was majoring in. So I had a lot of fun with it. I still enjoy writing. I'll write stuff. I think for this podcast, I just end up like writing about something else. Like it's super cathartic. It's creative. It's just like anything else too. You have to warm up. like warm up to writing. Can't just sit down. Unless I have this idea I need to get down right now.
Unless you're writing consistently every single day on something.
Yeah.
When I was writing my book, I'd wake up every morning and just
doing mounds of cocaine like Stephen King, just cranking out novels. Take a break. Get on.
Is that what's wrong with that guy?
On Twitter. Yeah, he's a well-known cocaine addict.
It ruined his brain.
Yes, you could say that. Are you worried about AI?
Yeah. I'm not worried about the scariest things like.
Oh, so you and I we're opposites on this.
So I'm not worried about cyberdyne technologies.
Mm-hmm. Which don't they have a headquarters here in
Sonoma?
you sent me that. I was like, mother of God.
And I think we had to do
it's happening so fast.
We had to do an announcement on the podcast. Guys, please do not drive to Sonoma and blow up cyberdyne technologies. Now, I'm more worried about just the total degradation of humanity that it's going to cause, that people are outsourcing their intelligence so rapidly to AI that it used to be kind of annoying when people would like bring up Wikipedia to prove something to you or to make a point. People citing AI now is 10 times worse than that.
Well,
it's like, you've got to be kidding. You're citing some random fucking computer that just picked answers out of a hat of the internet. Well, like that one article that we broke down where the AI had populated the whole answer from that one fucking article.
They had like referenced each other. Like, see, it's true. Yeah. Like they both wrote the same
like
thing.
A two-step loop.
I think the biggest misunderstanding, and the last guy I should ask about this, but in my experience is that AI is not some sentient being that just knows everything. And I think people...
It's a misnomer.
Yeah, they a lot of people I've talked to have said that, like, it's not this infallible source of information. What it does is through some hyperspeed process, aggregates all the articles that are available and condenses it into a little paragraph, right? So our ADD brain can like not do any work to actually research anything,
right?
And then you got to think, okay, where's it getting all these articles? Like, well, the internet. Like, does the internet censor?
Hold on, just stop right there. The internet. Like, come on.
It references
it's getting it from the internet. Like, isn't that enough to know that it's just faulty?
And you go, okay, but your biggest search engines in the internet or sources of information, which could be from YouTube to Google to whatever, like, do they censor certain ideas and, certain perspectives? Absolutely. That's been proven time and time again.
Right.
So all AI is just a short version of a bunch of shit that's may or may not be true.
It's censoring what it's getting off the internet, which is also censored.
Yes.
Right. So you're never going to get, like, there aren't books on the internet. So
there are, right?
Well,
you can get PDF versions of books.
Some books, but it's not like the whole canon of human literary achievement is available on the internet. I can just go there and read through a book on the internet.
Absolutely not.
Maybe AI can. Maybe Grok somehow has access to every book.
Have you seen the latest? Because someone tested that theory because they had they're like Grok, whatever. Give me references. AI, I want references for it. And they listed out a bunch of books, and this person, being a deep diver, went and tried to find those books. Those books didn't exist.
What
AI did is immediately generate a book so it could source itself. Yeah. And so I was like, it's this book and this book. And they're like, oh, when did that come out? They're like, just today. Interesting.
That is
so
devious.
AI wrote its own book that it could source for its condensed version of the information that this person was looking for.
Calling it intelligence is a misnomer.
Yeah,
there's nothing intelligent about it. All it is a really, really fast computer. So I'm not worried about it becoming sentient because I feel like it's easy to conflate knowing a lot of shit with being intelligent, or a computer having access to a lot of information and being conscious.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge divide there, and that doesn't really worry me. And maybe I'm off. I know there's smart people that say we should be worried about that, but I'm more just worried about how everyone's brain is going to just turn into mush because of.
Yeah, I agree with you there, but I'm a little bit on the fence. A little bit. I am worried about a Terminator-like scenario because they're already using drones. And
hold on, what % worried and what % excited? I'm guessing you're like 80-20.
It's probably about right. I was going to say 70-30, actually. That's just, we all know where this is going. That's just like, what I hate is waiting.
Totally. The waiting is killing me.
They're already using drone technology. Israel's using it, and they're using it in Ukraine and Russia. These drones, and when people think of drones, it's your wife's iDrone that you can take a picture of your property or whatever.
Yeah.
These are like Reaper drones. They're fighter jets,
right?
But they call them drones because they're unmanned. And
they vary, though. I mean, they're
like and everything in between.
Yeah.
And so, I was just listening to a podcast with his. He was like a military intelligence guy. He was saying like, now they're using this technology, like the Habsora program in Israel, that AI. So it still has a human element where they're monitoring or whatever. But the AI ultimately overrides what that guy's decision might be.
Really?
Yes. And we've talked about the Habsora program, which literally means what the word, the Bible, something like that.
It
very creepy.
The Habsora program, also known, this is from AI.
Yeah.
Also known as the gospel.
That's what I meant. So it must be true. And what that does is that AI controlling that drone technology for deciding, what part of Gaza is going to die that day, is based on an algorithm that can consolidate everyone's social media, all their text messages. Have you ever looked at the Pegasus software? Mm-hmm. The Pegasus software, which can backdoor all smart technology, like your phone or all the way down to your Roomba, your social media and everything, and aggregate it into this one thing. So they have this file on every single person using any kind of digital mechanism to be a functioning member of society, and a computer can determine whether that person's a terrorist or not. It could be based on like, well, they went to here's a picture of them at this birthday party, and there's a guy from Hamas terrorist bomb them. And it went up to, I think they were conducting something like 12 to 19 strikes per day, and it went up to over 100 once they started using that technology, which should be terrifying.
In most cases, I would be against that, but given how bloodthirsty the Israelis are, maybe having AI make the decisions would be a little bit better. I mean, maybe the AI would not decide to shoot babies in the head and starve people to death.
Well, the AI someone has to program the AI, right? Like you said, it's not a sentient being.
So the Israelis are programming it.
Right. So if part of your code is /genocide / one state solution, go. So as far as it pertains to that, like a Terminator scenario, like we're already kind of getting there already, and I think it's only going in one direction. And they're talking about other countries, like this technology is becoming so widely available that other countries are getting it.
Yeah.
Pretty soon we could be looking at countries going to war with each other with maybe no people involved, which could be an upside. It's just like our robots are going to go after your robots, or our drones will fight each other in the sky.
Right.
Kind of sounds like a better case scenario than what we have now.
Yeah.
If you go back to a more antiquated model when we're talking about like trench warfare, where people... Go ahead.
Well, how do you win the war? You just killed all their robots?
It's like...
And then what? Then all the people living there, like you and me living in America, we're like, all right, your robots won, come on in. No, they're not going to stop there. Well, they have to kill the people to win the war.
Like I always
start with the fucking robots, and then they're going to exterminate all the flesh sacks.
Cyberball was the greatest predictive programming that we ever saw. Remember Cyberball?
Oh, yeah.
The video game?
Yes.
God damn, that was a great game.
Totally.
For those of you that are not from Gen Z, there was a football arcade game that were robots.
Yes.
Played against each other.
That was so fun.
And the robots would wear out and catch on fire and everything.
Blow up.
So, but the other component, which is something I do kind of worry about, but then I balance it with this other perspective, is I think about that I do worry about what this is doing to people's brains, because the kind of smaller microcosm whitewash version of this is social media, right? It's like now we have all this, we've taken over what previously the way that you would navigate social engagements, like when we were kids, is you went to someone's house, or you went skating with them, or you guys went surfing together, or you played on the same soccer team, or whatever it is. And that's been at first supplemented, now entirely replaced as the generations go by something just you staring at your phone all day.
What we were doing by going to someone's house or going bowling or meeting up wherever was satisfying a part of our brain that needed human interaction.
Social interaction, yes.
And getting a dopamine hit for feeling like you accomplished some sort of thing, whether it's relationship or doing something at work or writing a paper, like you get that hit. And then social media comes in and it just goes, you're awesome. Like, boom, 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 boom. Oh, you suck. Oh, now you got some likes. You're awesome. And just puts you on that fucking roller coaster and takes away that human interaction. And AI is doing a similar thing by taking away your, I don't know. It could be doing the same thing of taking away your sense of accomplishing anything because you're just having a computer do it for you. I could see that being kind of a similar thing.
Yeah.
But let me go back to the Terminator for a second.
We can do the rest of the episode about Terminator.
When I said I wasn't worried about the machines becoming conscious, I skipped over the autonomous weaponry part of this.
Okay.
And you're absolutely right. That does terrify me.
Yeah.
The idea of autonomous weapons, there's a reason why they're illegal. According to international law, you're not allowed to have a weapon that makes its own decision on whether or not to pull the trigger.
There's a lot of things that are illegal according to international law. That
You're also
don't really seem to come to fruition.
It's not surprising that Israel is actually doing that, since they're also not allowed to have a nuclear weapon, and they got a few of those too. So they don't really seem all that into following the rules. Not that the United States does either. We veto every UN Security Council decision that ever comes down. But that does terrify me. Nothing did it better than the Black Mirror episode with the fucking robot dogs.
Yes, that's terrifying. Which are a thing. If you look at Boston Dynamics.
I know.
Which I don't know which one came first, but I remember seeing that episode and it's like exactly the same.
Yeah.
And then I think I saw the Boston Dynamics thing first. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I saw Black Mirror. I was like, is this like a Boston Dynamics commercial? Like, what am I watching here right now?
And what's crazy about that, if you watch that episode, what I took away from it was it starts out and there's these humans that are living in a post-apocalyptic world, and they're just trying to find stuff to survive, food, water, gasoline. They're just kind of scavenging around looking for things. And they find this warehouse. Everything is done. Like the whole world is at a crawl.
Yeah.
But these fucking robot dogs are still programmed to kill. And this might be 1,000 years after the end of civilization, and these robot dogs are still programmed to kill, and they go after the people, and they just don't fucking stop. And that's what you're dealing with when you have a drone that you tell it to program, you program it to kill. It's going to do its job or die trying.
Yeah. It has no human emotion.
Yeah.
It has no concept of God, higher power, where am I going after this, of family, of empathy, of compassion. And that's the Terminator scenario that scares the hell out of me. I wouldn't say it scares the hell out of me, but I'm like, it's definitely concerning.
If it were real, it would be, I guess it is real. Israel. It is terrifying.
Pun intended. That's what they call the old single entendre.
So, did you hear that the Epstein files are going to be released?
Really?
Yeah.
I just stand corrected.
I know. All this complaining that we were doing.
Any day now.
We gave them such a hard time for not releasing the files, and now they're going to do it. Have you paid attention to that at all?
Like minimally. I check out. I listen to a couple. Just I guess we could put them in the category of like mainstream media, AM radio programs and podcasts. It's maddening to listen to. I do it for this podcast, but I have this rhythm when I wake up and I check everything right off the bat. So Fox News, CNN, Huffington Post, MSNBC, and it's like number one, I'm entertained on like how inverted the tone of the way they present each headline, which they know is typically what I think 80% of people read as opposed to the entire article. But I just want to say, like, not that I believe any of these people or these institutions. I just read it in the spirit of like, I just want to see what the chattering classes are yammering on about.
Yeah.
So I have heard like a fair amount about the Epstein thing. And it's always hilarious. Like many of these sources, both left and right, just the left is semi-excited about it because like we can figure out a way to connect Trump to this somehow. The right is trying to bury it because both the left and the right are beholden to
Israel.
I was going to say some country in the Middle East.
Right. Right.
And the right is more typically takes the flavor of it's the fifth stage of the headbox. Like, why are you people still talking about this? There's nothing there, right? They had tens of thousands of hours of live pornography that apparently was just for this one guy, which make him the most sexually prolific predator in the history of the world. And meanwhile, they recently took the victims out and they gave a speech in front of the White House, something like that.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of rife with suspicion. They're like, well, we're going to get together and compile this list of all the famous people that we saw at these engagements under Jeffrey Epstein, whether it was island, or his Manhattan penthouse, or on his plane. And, but we're not going to do it just yet. And so I had this
just fucking do it already.
Had this like teaser vibe. Like what are we doing here? Is this like the world's greatest chef TV show?
I know. Stay tuned. Dude, I saw all of this stuff popping up. I even downloaded a couple of podcasts that were going to talk about it, and I just didn't listen to them. You know what? I don't fucking care because I know that you're not actually going to tell us the truth on this. You already lied through your teeth, gaslit us, saying that there were no files after telling us there were files, then giving us this totally edited and doctored video of the cell. Like it was edited.
Yeah.
We can prove that it was edited. People have proved it. They can show where Adobe Premiere was used in different sections of the film and it was all totally edited. Like, it's all a fucking lie. So if you're all of a sudden now coming out and telling us that you have the files and you're going to release them, fuck off. No, you're not. Unless what you start with is a big, fat apology and explanation
of why you lied.
As to why you lied. Yeah. And it better be believable because we know there is a reason. Like, you tell us the reason and it will make sense to us because we all know what the real reason is. And then when you do that, the fucking earth will shake under your feet, and that's how you'll know that it's true.
Yeah.
And then I will listen. But this is just a fucking dog and pony show. It's such bullshit. Like, and,
it is ridiculous.
And it's insulting to because everyone knows.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that everything the Trump administration is doing since they didn't release the Epstein files is a distraction from the Epstein files. I don't care what it is. Bombing the ships in Venezuela, that's a fucking distraction from you not releasing the Epstein files. Because you know in the back of your head, as a president, this thing is a big deal and I have to get out from under it because it's going to crush everything. And so you know every time you do something, in the back of your head, you're saying, God, I hope this kind of takes a little heat off the Epstein thing.
And it's become the inverse from their end, because everyone's saying, when people press them about it, they say, like, hey, so what's up with these Epstein files? It seems like you guys keep pushing this aside. And then the way they counter that, which is, it's just basically how media and public messaging, political messaging works. And it does work because people are fucking dumb shits. They're like, it's just a distraction because they're trying to, they want all your attention over here. And they're like, everyone's attention is there. Let me ask something. I just saw a poll, us.gov, not AI. What percentage of people think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself?
Ooh.
What do you think?
God, it's got to be lower than I want it to be. I'm going to say 65%.
16.
What?
16% of
Stop
Americans polled think that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself.
I don't believe that.
US.gov. You can look it up.
Why would they lie?
But it goes back to the walk out the front door test, because you go like, because every once in a while you do deep dives on stuff and like, why am I so entrenched to this? And like you meet people that you have perceived to be NPCs and just they take in mainstream media all day and vomit it back out at you, and you're like, okay, like I'm not gonna benefit from having a conversation with this person. It's like, maybe I am like hyper focused on this thing, and then you see something like that, you're like, because I just know that most people I talk to, I mean, my parents, I asked them, like, you think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself? My mom goes, no.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's what I'm saying.
So I meet people my age. I was just like, dude, I mean, I'm talking to boomers who are going like, he didn't kill himself. Like, it's too obvious. There's too many things. We listed it up. Like, okay, one of these things can be true, but all 17 of these things all lining up at the same time. Like, come on now.
Quick break.
Yep.
Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. I have a friend in Jesus. Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. He taught me how to live my life as it should be. He taught me how to turn my cheek when people laugh at me. I've had friends before, and I can tell you that he's one who will never leave you flat. Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. I have a friend in Jesus. Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. He taught me how to pray and how to save my soul. He taught me how to praise my God and still play rock and roll. The music may sound different, but the message is the same. It's just an instrument to praise his name. Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. I have a friend in Jesus.
For those of you listening at home, that was Jesus Was a Friend of Mine by the band Sunseed, who were from Brooklyn, New York. I think they all formed at a Roman Catholic church out of Brooklyn. And unfortunately, not too long ago, the drummer died. He choked to death on a sandwich in his apartment.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how Mama Cass died.
I do deep dives on everything.
Everything. Did you have anything to say about going to war with Venezuela?
Yes. So recently, what's your understanding of what just happened? There was 11 alleged drug smugglers from the Tren de Agua gang on a boat.
Alleged?
Okay.
No, dude, they were drug dealers.
Okay.
We know.
Well, there was drugs on there. And we sent, I think, 2,500 Marines down to those shores to...
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
To Venezuela?
To stop... yeah.
Boots on the ground?
No. Off the coast.
On the boats?
Off the coast, on the boats. And they blew the shit out of this ship and killed 11 people.
Right.
Venezuelans who were smuggling drugs from Venezuela to the U.S. Now, why are we being told they did that?
That they were blown up?
Yes.
Because they were terrorists.
Okay. Narco-terrorists.
Yes.
Right off the bat, I am extremely uncomfortable with the term terrorism, which doesn't really mean anything anymore. The grandma that took an unaccompanied tour on January 6th in the Capitol was a terrorist and was thrown in jail.
The parents that showed up at the school board meeting.
And asked, like, why are you letting boys in the women's room?
Yeah, terrorist.
Was a domestic terrorist. Mm-hmm. And the genius / whore of the Patriot Act is that they declared the homeland a battlefield.
Yep.
In the language. It was an amendment to the Patriot Act. Therefore, anyone in America that could be suspected of terrorism, we could do warrantless wiretaps, surveillance. We could drag them to, technically, we could drag them to Guantanamo Bay.
And you don't have rights if you're suspected of being a terrorist.
Yeah. it's the same thing. It goes back. Remember the whole thing that the left and Antifa tried to get, the hashtag punch a Nazi? It's like punch a Nazi.
Right.
Who's a Nazi? We'll let you know. Like, no, that's not how this works.
It's the guy we just punched.
By the way, you guys can't fight, so I don't know how you think this is going to work out. So, but now let's nitpick this thing.
Yes, I'd like to.
So
do you want to hear this clip I have of Matt Walsh talking about it?
Sure,
because he can fill that role for us.
I'm interested in what he says about it because
he tends to fill that role of the mainstream boomer con.
Yes,
and we've talked about it before. No disrespect to him for this, but we definitely disagree on this. I'm sure when he listens to this, he'll send us a nasty email.
More than a few panicked conversations going on this evening over at the headquarters of Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan gang that routinely traffics drugs into this country and takes over apartment complexes in places like Colorado. As you may have seen, 7 months after the Trump administration designated Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization, the U.S. military just blew up one of the gang's drug boats as it sped towards the United States. There was no warning. The Coast Guard didn't try to take them into custody. Instead, the boat and all 11 people on board were bombed and eliminated, presumably with the help of one of the warships that the White House has recently deployed to the Southern Caribbean. After decades of having open access to the U.S., this development had to be quite a shock for Tren de Aragua and every terrorist group that engages in drug trafficking. Until now, the absolute worst-case scenario is that they might get detained very briefly, maybe have to answer a few awkward questions about why they're heading towards the United States on a boat with 4 outboard motors and millions of dollars worth of narcotics. And then some NGO armed with tax dollars commandeered by the Democrat Party would jump into action and spring them loose as Ivy League act.
Not to nitpick.
No,
too
we're
much.
nitpicking.
Okay. Because I think you and I are of the same mindset that war is only justified in certain areas of life, which are very minimal.
Right.
Defensive war. And if it's the only resort, it can be justified in other cases. And simply designating someone a terrorist organization, I'm not clear how that gives you the right to murder them. Because those people do have rights, even though they're not Americans.
Right.
I mean, the whole principle of America is that all men were created equal and endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights. It doesn't say because they were born in the United States, which was, when that was written, there was no United States. There were just these states. And the fact that we are celebrating just blowing these people up for suspicion of trafficking drugs to the United States, I'd like to ask some questions. So the boat that they were on was basically a big aluminum fishing boat. It was big. It had 4 motors on it.
Right.
Was that boat driving from Venezuela to America?
That's what we're being told.
That's a long fucking trip. Those guys didn't even have like a bimini top on the thing. Like, they're gonna be so sunburned by the time.
I don't see a cooler or anything in this footage.
Right. Well, I guess if you have enough Coke, you don't really need a cooler.
Good point.
Drive through the night.
A little beer to take the edge off wouldn't kill you, but
I'd have questions. Like, really? Like, these guys were worthy of dying? Are we sure? Like, how do you know that for sure? Just because of where the boat left and who was on it? Like, boom, you're dead. I'm sorry. That is an act of war. If anyone did that to an American outside of American waters, that would be a big fucking deal.
A fishing boat off the coast of, Florida
for smuggling marlin into Brazil or something like.
But let's be charitable.
Okay.
For the boomer cons that are celebrating about this, let's just say that we know for a fact they were drug smugglers. The boat was packed full of drugs, right? So they were drug dealers, right? Okay. Bringing drugs into the U.S.
Yes.
What we're being told is like, well, all these drugs are killing all these Americans. Like, so basically think of all the lives we would have saved by killing these people. 2 things is if you are caught as a big time drug dealer in the U.S., is capital punishment on the table for you if you get arrested?
No,
it's not. Okay.
If not just for selling drugs.
Do you go on trial?
Yep.
If you get arrested. Okay. So we preempted the trial, the judicial process, and immediately applied capital punishment to 11 people.
Right.
Just based on our suspicion. Let's just say we knew as a fact that they had drugs, right? We don't do that in the U.S. If a guy had 10 times the amount of drugs that these people had on their fishing boat, we catch a guy in the U.S., capital punishment's not on the table.
I think the argument from the BoomerCon side of things would be that they're terrorists. We're at war with them, and at war you don't give people trials.
A war on drugs,
something like that.
Have we tried that
it's got a
before?
nice ring to it. We should coin that term.
Here's another thing: these narco terrorist gangs, they smuggle drugs. What else do they smuggle?
Guns, people,
innocent human beings,
right?
Usually for like sex trafficking or slave labor here in the U.S.
There weren't any on that boat.
Okay, we know that.
Oh, for sure.
They checked the wreckage.
I don't. You know more about it than I do.
Find a couple passports floating in the water. We ran some background checks. Is that what happened? We can't this. This is not a good look. And I was in a discussion with someone who thinks they're in the center, but they're like as far left as you can get. And they're talking about the military presence with the National Guard in D.C., and then they're vying for Chicago. We had them in L.A. And you're saying, you go like, well, for number one, for the, 20-30% of this country where Trump lives in their head rent-free, it occupies all their bandwidth, all their cerebral capability, which is very sad to watch from the outside. I'm like, this is not a good look, because if they're already accusing you of being a dictator and authoritarian, and you're gonna be president for a third term or whatever it is that you read on Nextdoor, which you got to get on my algorithm because it's amazing.
I figured out what the difference is.
Okay,
you just live in a much worse neighborhood than I do.
Huh.
Well,
not worse like property value, but
no, or safety, but politically,
that could be it.
Everyone in my neighborhood just gets along, man.
Do they? Yeah.
Just check out my
algorithm. Invite your neighbor with a Ukraine flag over for dinner.
He doesn't have the Ukraine flag now. He has.
Let me guess.
Okay. You're never gonna guess. It's red.
Red. Just red?
No, it's red with some white and some black on it. It's not a Nazi flag.
Well, I'm out of ideas then.
Okay. It's the UFW flag, the United Farm Workers. Si se puedes.
Gotcha.
Cesar Chavez, who, fun fact, vehemently opposed
against immigration.
Vehemently opposed to illegal immigration. Let's go back to Matt Walsh. He has a lot more to say on this.
Demanded that we respect the civil liberties of sociopathic foreign drug traffickers. But that's not what happened this time. Instead, the NGOs and academics weren't given any time to intercede on behalf of Tren de Aragua. Federal judges weren't given that opportunity either. There's simply no chance that a federal judge with a name out of a Star Wars movie can issue any kind of injunction at this point, ordering the Trump administration to form a dive team and go on down there and piece all the dead bodies back together. That's not going to work. We just simply killed them all instead. And as you might expect, our moral superiors aren't very happy about this. Here's how one Princeton professor and self-styled human rights advocate, a guy named Kenneth Roth, responded to the destruction of the drug boat. Quote, "Drug trafficking is a crime, not an act of war. Traffickers must be arrested, not summarily executed, which U.S. forces just illegally did." And there were dozens more posts like this, all of them complaining about the destruction of a boat full of drug traffickers. The Trump administration didn't respond to any of these people. Instead, one by one, the official accounts of various officials and departments in the administration, including Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, the rapid response team, posted the footage of the boat exploding without apology. The White House also posted memes like this one. The caption reads, "Terrorists eliminated, adios." Not exactly a subtle message. But what makes it so effective is that, predictably, no one on the left has any idea how to respond.
So it's kind of easy to call the people who are against this kind of thing, lefties. Matt's making the point that it's all these people on the left that just they want drug traffickers to live and to bring drugs to America. But I think he misses the viewpoint of people like us who are very skeptical of our government when they say that they are going to help America by going to war with another country. Because this is war. This is an act of war. We've called them terrorists so that we could declare war on them. We would never declare war, but they should. I mean, you're killing people in another country. That is an act of war.
Yeah.
And has the government ever waged war on another country, whether the Congress approved it or not, that actually ended up benefiting the United States of America? I mean, maybe when the Marines went to Tripoli and stopped the pirates.
It's a deep pull.
Back in the fucking 18th century. I mean, you could point to that. But every time we've gone to war since then has caused, well, let's just look at like the wars of the last 50 years. All of the bombing that we did.
We had no wars in the last 50 years.
Well, I know. But that aside, all of the bombing that we've done in the last 50 years.
Thank you. Which are acts of war.
Has turned into a worse thing than when it started. And mainly by causing blowback, which is a term coined by the CIA, was this idea that you're killing people, their offspring and their relatives and their friends are going to be upset about that, and they're going to retaliate, especially when you kill innocent people. And in this case, like if your only plan is to just blow guys up on a boat, I mean, you did make the point that there could be innocent people being trafficked, human beings being trafficked.
Yeah, I'm not even suggesting that this was the case here. What I'm saying is that what actions like this do is they set a precedent of preemptive, unilateral military action for something that we just think is wrong. Right. So what's next? We've already established the precedent.
Exactly.
It
What's
changes
next?
the Overton window of like.
Are we just blowing up boats? Because you blow up this boat and you have a video of it. It's like, okay, those are obviously drug dealers. We just killed the drug dealers. We didn't blow up their house and kill the innocent people around there. But are we just going to blow up boats? Because I'm pretty sure that these drug traffickers are going to stop using boats if all the boats are getting blown up. And then what are we going to do? Are they not going to figure out a way to get drugs into the United States? They're going to figure out a way.
There's a demand. There will be a supply.
Exactly. And so we're going to have to step it up, right? And then we're going to start killing innocent people. We might have killed innocent people on that boat, but we're definitely going to kill innocent people when we start bombing buildings, right? Are we just convinced that Venezuelans won't become terrorists because they're not Muslim? Like, what's the thing that's keeping the blowback from happening from attacking Venezuela? I just think it's so short-sighted to be like, oh, the left, these bleeding heart liberals. And we talked about it before. The left weren't the original anti-war demonstrators. There's a strong anti-war sentiment going way back to the beginning of the country from conservatives, people on the right, knowing that we don't need to get wrapped up in entangling alliances and chasing monsters abroad. You know, the left, we only think of the left as being anti-war because of what we talked about with the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And how all the left-leaning people, the hippies and whatnot, that once we started drafting them out of college, they got all up in arms about this terrible war that was being fought. Meanwhile, they didn't give a shit before then.
Default tactic, which is to stall, file frivolous lawsuits, wage large-scale propaganda campaigns, that simply doesn't work anymore. So instead of accomplishing anything, they're stammering on the internet about how it's supposedly a terrible thing that drug boats are being destroyed. They can't explain why that's so terrible or what negative consequence that will actually have for us. They're aghast at the possibility that for the first time in recent memory, the U.S. military is actually carrying out airstrikes for the benefit of the American people. And the American people overwhelmingly support it. As scandalous as this may be to left-wing, anti-human academics, most Americans feel the way that I do about it. And my take is very simple. kill the foreign drug traffickers who bring poison into our country. Kill them all. Mass slaughter of the drug cartels. Leave no one alive. That's what I'd like to see. It's what most Americans...
And that'll solve the problem. Problem solved.
Right.
Yeah.
No more drugs.
No more drugs in America.
We have a war on drugs, a drug war, a war on drugs.
Yeah.
No more.
Done. If you just declare war on drugs.
These people addicted to drugs in the U.S., problem solved.
Totally. Mass slaughter of all the drug dealers, problem solved. I mean, by mass slaughter, it's hard to hear the term mass slaughter and not think of dead babies.
Hey, I don't want to put you on the spot, but answer some really stupid questions for me.
Okay.
Ready?
Here we go again.
This is where you're supposed to say there are no stupid questions. And I ask you, and you're like, that's the stupidest question I've ever heard. Okay, so we have this. Let's just say we know for a fact, right, that they had drugs and they were smuggling them into the U.S.
Yes.
And the reason why that's a net benefit for America, according to people like Matt Walsh and the Trump administration, is what?
The drugs stopped coming into America.
Which is a benefit. Why?
Because there's violence, because drugs are illegal and there's violence associated with the drug trade.
Okay.
And people that take the drugs end up getting hurt by that drug.
Might die from an overdose or...
Yeah, or just like waste their life away or spend all their money and, blow their kids' college fund or become homeless and then contribute to the homeless problem.
Which Gavin Newsom's trying to fix currently. Or started 20 years ago to solve.
Give him some time.
Yeah.
Let the man
It's just
cook.
like the high-speed bullet train. It's just these things take time.
Yes.
Billions of dollars.
Just like the widening of the 101 freeway south of Petaluma.
Dude, by the way, what is up with our fucking roads? I picked up my kid from school today, and I was just like, I feel like my front end is going to fall out of my truck here at some point.
It's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
How unenvironmentally friendly are fucked up roads?
Yeah.
You're trashing your car. Having to get a new car is not good for the environment.
This is true. So what is the difference between this off the coast of Venezuela, right? Because we're trying to stem the tide of drugs coming into our country because there's such a high demand. Then what if they pulled over, and maybe this answer is obvious, but I'm just trying to kind of get to a point here. What is the difference between that and pulling over someone on the Miami-Dade freeway with a car and the trunk is filled with fentanyl, right?
Right.
And the cop just shooting him in the head right there, going like, well, it's for the greater good.
If I was wearing my Matt Walsh hat, I would say that
sounds good to me.
If they were a U.S. citizen, they deserve a trial. Otherwise, they should be shot in the head.
Okay, what if it's someone who is not a U.S. citizen, but you catch them in the U.S., like outside of Miami, with a car with a trunk load full of fentanyl? We just shoot them in the head, and
I guess that's
called a benefit.
I don't see the difference. Yeah, I think that's.
So
sounds like that's.
So is the only reason this is okay is that because it happened outside of U.S. jurisdiction?
That's a good question. The only way to test that is to kill some Venezuelans here in Miami.
Good work if you can get it.
That's a really good question.
I'm looking at your grant proposal. We have a lot of questions.
Because if someone's in the United States illegally, they don't sacrifice their rights. But it's not just because they're in the United States. It's if they're outside the United States, they also have rights. Mm-hmm. The whole thing is this terrorism accusation that's being put on them.
Okay, but according to the...
Right, but if they're terrorists in Venezuela, then they're also terrorists in the United States. Like we've established that we have domestic terrorists.
But then to go back to my original point, according to the amendments of the Patriot Act that they made that declared the homeland as a battlefield, therefore...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, anyone could be a terrorist.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So according to that...
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. According to that, like there shouldn't be any difference between blowing up their boat in Venezuela or blowing them up here in the United States.
I know this is getting like fairly esoteric and we're getting into woo-woo kind of libertarian philosophy, but these are important things to consider when people have this what I perceive to be like an emotional reaction of like, yeah, they were bad guys, they're narco terrorists, they're trying to smuggle drugs in. I was like, but you have to understand the precedent that this creates and the way that the Overton window shifts because of a military action like this. And it was a military action, and a legal military action, is like that changes the entire game from here on out. And it only goes in one direction given the track history of the way that these things operate. And that's something that we have to consider.
And I would say that
I'm not even arguing that this was terrible. I'm not even saying that.
Oh, right. No, me neither.
But what I'm saying is like you have to look at the bigger picture of situations like this.
We've said it before. I think that the U.S. military going in and taking out the Mexican drug cartels in Mexico would probably benefit the people of Mexico. But like you just said, you have to think about what precedent that starts and what the repercussions of that are going to be. You can't just attack the problem after the problem has become a problem, because that doesn't actually, it's like putting a Band-Aid on cancer.
Yeah.
Right? You're not dealing with the root cause of the problem, and there's always externalities from these actions that you take. There's always going to be blowback. There's always going to be repercussions from this. And as much as I hate to admit it, the people that complain about Trump being a dictator, the move of bombing people on U.S. soil that are, even if they're illegal Venezuelan drug runners, is a bad look.
Yeah.
It's very authoritarian. And just because we call them terrorists, we are not allowed to just kill them, in my opinion. Because they can just call anyone they want terrorists. They can call you and me terrorists. They call moms at the PTA meetings terrorists. They call the grandmas at January 6th terrorists. They call just about anyone that disagrees with them a terrorist. And when someone else gets in power, when AOC's president, she can call whoever she wants a terrorist. There's a very low bar to pass to actually be a terrorist. There's what's stopping them from killing people on U.S. soil. And I do, those No King protests, which are kind of silly, like they kind of do have a point. Like if Trump is going to be taking the military into these blue cities to end crime there, like, is that really how we want to live? Like we could end crime. North Korea doesn't have any crime. You can end crime by using the military.
They don't have any food either.
Exactly. Is that the trade-off you want? You're willing to trade all of your freedoms to not have any crime? I mean, my personal opinion is if these blue cities want to live in filth and decay and be terrified of crime every single day, then that's the bed that they made and they should lay in it. Let those cities fucking rot. It's a bad idea to start bringing the military into U.S. cities and actually start enforcing the law using the military.
That's funny. The discussion I was having with a friend, I said almost exactly that. I was like, there's a reason I don't go into cities, is they're crime-ridden hellholes, including my beloved San Francisco, where I lived for almost a decade. I'm like, I barely recognize that place anymore. Although I hear it's turning around in quite a drastic fashion.
Yeah, that new mayor, I think, is kidding.
Yeah, which is nice to hear. But
that's what should happen. Those people should elect a mayor who's going to crack down on crime, not just allow the military to come across the bridge.
What I don't agree with, and I totally agree, I was like, these places made their own bed. They need to lay in it and figure it out. Mm-hmm. And eventually enough people come to the realization, like, we need different leadership. This is not working. I'm not saying that Chicago or San Francisco is going to turn red. I'm not saying turning red's even the solution, but put the left, right, red, blue thing completely aside. I was like, you guys tried to, what do we had? Prop 49. You decriminalize crime. Therefore, we got more crime. and I get to sit on the outside of the fishbowl and go like, cool. Let's see how it works out.
Totally.
Crazy. Not very well.
I don't have to live there.
Now you guys are trying to course correct. I don't care. I don't fucking live there. You get what you fucking deserve. We get the leaders that we deserve. That's totally true. So when you watch these instances play out as someone who has made the moves in your own life, like, I see where this is going. I'm going to remove myself from, I'm getting off the tracks. Like, I don't want to be involved in this. And the people that want to sit there and, yell at the sky or on Twitter or whatever, that vote blue no matter who, and it's blue policies. If we're talking about crime right now, they're all voting for these for what's going on in these cities. I'm like, that's. I'm sorry, I don't want to be callous, but you get what you get, and I'm not going to feel bad about it.
And places like San Francisco prove that it's capable to come back from that,
turn it around, which they are doing.
I don't think New York is going to turn it around.
And I'm not talking about us going back to like 1950s America. I'm talking about simple things like, hey, what if we crack down on people shitting on the sidewalk?
Well, homeless people can't use a bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
They can't use a $700,000 bathroom that the city built for them.
A $1.5 million bathroom in Noe Valley. It's still not operational.
Did you hear that the mayor, the Democrat candidate for mayor, what's his name? Milani?
Lamdani, something like that?
Yeah. Is proposing free buses?
Yes.
In New York City?
Right. What's going to be the end result of that?
Well, you can look at other cities that have tried it. They all say the same thing, that they turn into rolling homeless shelters, rolling toilets.
But same thing with.
That's better than shitting on the sidewalk.
Yeah, shit on the bus. Come on, be a human being.
They should just have like a homeless bus that doesn't actually drop anyone off. It just picks people up and drives around and just like
a drain on the floor and like hose nozzles in each corner.
Doesn't really go anywhere.
Like I said, you guys run the experiment. I don't live there. You do whatever you want. If I did live there, I would just move. I'm not, or definitely not get on the bus at the very least. So, are you following this? What Ron DeSantis is proposing in Florida right now?
No.
Ending all vaccine mandates for children to attend school.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah.
He is not getting a lot of love for that.
No, not at all. And it's kind of out of character for him because he was always kind of vying for something bigger. And it's a pretty extreme move.
Yeah, but he ended up, after months of being bad on COVID, he ended up being pretty good on COVID and lockdowns.
Right. And this reminded me of like something, kind of a bigger theme that we talk about quite a bit, is that, so obviously the reaction to this is they're coming after him about it.
Yeah, well,
it's just
they, meaning the mainstream media.
Right. The most abhorrent thing, I don't know, come off the top of your head, like what do you think the response to this is?
Yeah, he wants children to die, and
right.
He's a science denier.
Mm-hmm. Do you know how many vaccines are on the childhood vaccination schedule?
Yeah, it's like 75.
72.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Whoa.
It's 72.
I way overshot the mark.
Many of those are not fatal diseases, by the way.
Or even contractable diseases if you're a child.
Yes.
Like the HPV vaccine?
Yes. Now, this is, or the hepatitis vaccine.
Yeah.
You can get through sexual contact or use of a hypodermic needle. I actually heard someone say this. It's like, well, you could take your kid to the park. They could step on a hypodermic needle. Well, right. You got any stats of how often that happens? By the way, like, worst parent ever if you let that happen. But what I want to kind of bring up is this also gets to the immigration thing, because I was having a conversation with a friend and I kind of used this metaphor. Is the problem is, so let's take immigration, because this guy, very, very far left, someone I really like a lot, but was talking about the ICE raids. ICE going in and yanking people out of their houses and deporting them and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, like I've heard some of the anecdotal stories of them grabbing someone who was actually a citizen. I've heard one story of that happening. I was like, but here's the problem is you have to envision it like this. And we use this analogy quite a bit. It's the car crashing from guardrail to guardrail. If you spend 4 years with the border completely open, I was like, and it has one result, much like decriminalizing crime in San Francisco is going to have one result. The reaction to that is going to be, the more extreme you go to one position, the reaction is inevitably going to be just as extreme going in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that sweet spot in the middle that the car never seems to be able to maintain a lane because it's hammered off its ass, which is what America is as a nation, that just crashes from guardrail to guardrail to guardrail to guardrail. And part of the reason for that, in my opinion, is that we are giving credence to the people with the loudest voices, which are always on the fringe 10% of those two issues. Mm-hmm. And thank you, social media. This is also why kids are fucked up and using AI to write their term papers. I was like, so if you spend 4 years with the border totally open, with the gates of the border literally welded open to let people come in unvetted and unchecked, and I'm not saying I'm against immigration, but you can't, if you have no borders, you have no country. Like, what are we doing here? Why even have a currency at this point?
Right.
And so you let people flood in, the reaction is going to be this thing, which is going to be insane. And there's going to be a lot of mess in trying to course correct that problem. I'm like, it's just, and that's how all of these things work. This is the same thing with Ron DeSantis, his new legislation to end vaccine mandates for kids. I was like, well, because they're talking about like, they're having hearings. JFK was on the JFK is, according to QAnon, coming back to the capital of Dallas.
He's still alive.
Next year sometime. Is RFK is on the stand, and they're just grilling him because he's got a mild anti-vax kind of stance.
Yeah.
You could say.
I wouldn't even say he's anti-vax. He's just
Vax hesitant.
So many vaxes.
Yeah, he's saying like we don't need all these vaccines. And the problem is a lot of these people, while he was on the stand, and the same people who are coming after Ron DeSantis are saying, you're surpassing all these institutions, the CDC, for example, FDA, WHO, even on a global level. You're surpassing all these trusted institutions. You're not trusting the science. A term that I never thought I'd ever hear again after 2022. Yet I'm still hearing it. And he goes, we have all these institutions that come up with what's best for us. And the point to think about when you look at something like this, I'm like, you guys blew your credibility out of the water after COVID. Mm-hmm. The CDC told us the vaccine would stop COVID. The masks were effective, and 6 feet apart was a useful thing. None of that was true. I'm like, and now you're screaming that we're not listening to you anymore. The amount of people that I meet now in like 2024, 2025 that say like, man, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't have got my kid vaccinated. These are not like far right extremists. They didn't come off the hill, from training with their militia. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't tell me that. These are like normal people, lefties their whole life. And I just have a hard time with hearing from these institutions saying like, why aren't you guys listening to us anymore? We have these new guidelines. I'm like, no one's listening. We're not listening to you guys anymore. Like you guys blew your credibility out of the water. The car has crashed off that guardrail in like 2022, 2023, is going this way now. Like you are a dented, piece of metal on the side of the freeway, way fucking behind us. Like I'm no longer interested in hearing what you guys have to say. Now I was saying that in 2020.
You think a lot of people are coming around to that way of thinking?
Way more than there were.
But they still believe Jeffrey Epstein killed himself.
No. In fact, I'd like to see a study of the amount of people, the 16% of Americans, according to US.gov, that believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself.
Yes.
I would be willing to bet thousands of dollars those people also have their boosters, all of their boosters. I think they're on like the 12th booster at this point.
That's 16% of all Americans. They polled everybody. Can I say this?
I'm going to look that up real quick.
All right. You brought up immigration. I've been thinking about this for a while. And I believe that the border being open by Joe Biden and allowing millions of people to just flood into the country was horrible and should not have happened. And Trump campaigning on wanting to kick all those people out of the country was one of the reasons that I voted for him. I thought that it was...
Okay, how many Americans believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself?
16%.
How many Americans do you think have all of their COVID boosters up to date?
16%.
23.
You're right.
Pretty damn close.
The Venn diagram is nearly overlapping.
It's almost one circle. Or the 3 circles if you're Kamala Harris.
Right. I mean, technically, you can have a 3-circle Venn diagram. It's 10, whatever. You can have as many as you want. It's America.
Kamala, you can't have 3. What I'm saying is you don't have to maniacally cackle after you say that because it's not a punchline to a joke.
No. Why don't you just lay off Kamala Harris, okay? She's an intelligent, well-spoken, sober woman. So this is what I've come to on the illegal immigrant thing. I honestly don't care if there are illegal immigrants in the country. What I do care about are people that are in the country with the intention of destroying it, or people that are in the country that don't want to be Americans, but they're here for another agenda, whether it's to attack America or undermine America or just bring their own country into America. I am concerned about like the Chinese nationals that we heard so much about coming over the border and setting up their own camps along the way from the Darien Gap. Like, where are those guys? How come we don't see roundups, mass deportations of those guys? Cartel members coming across, child smuggling coming across. I don't want any of that. And those are the people that should be kicked out. Or Muslims who want to come in and turn their region, their city that they're living in into a place that respects Sharia law and not the Constitution. Like, those people got to go.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's funny, the conversation I was having with that person, I think they assumed I had a certain viewpoint just because he's kind of deranged. He's saying, you have to understand these people from Mexico, they're like, there are people. You're in construction. These are your people. You have to understand that. And I was like, I don't know why you're assuming I have a problem with immigration or even illegal immigration, to be honest with you. I was like, I really have very little thoughts. I mean, we're in California.
Well,
we're used to it.
Even if you're here legally, if you've immigrated here legally and you want to destroy the country, you're gone. I'm sorry. Like, you have to go. No one can come to our country and then try to turn it into another country or disrespect the spirit of America, the libertarianism that founded America, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. If you hold those values true, then come on in. And I kind of, the illegal part, I'd rather you do it legally, but I interact with so many illegal immigrants, and they all are serving a purpose.
Yeah,
here they're contributing to society. They're doing things that I want them to do. The fact that they're not legal doesn't really bother me.
I still think my trade program is the way to go. I know it sounds like I'm joking, but dude, it's like, all right, you suburban middle-class kid who grew up with all the advantages that's burning the flag on Instagram on 4th of July. You're coming with me. We go down the border, like, you guy, concrete guy, yeah?
Yeah.
No passport? Cool. You guys are switching places.
Yeah, like a draft.
Yes, exactly. We take everyone that wants to talk about, like, I'm going to move to Canada. Like, well, Mexico's got better weather.
It's
so
cold.
We're going to go this way. We go down there, like, I need an electrician. You're coming with me.
Yeah, totally. I don't even care if you come here and you open up a little Vietnam in a shopping center that caters just to Vietnamese people. If you have,
that's awesome.
If you have American values and the people that you're catering to also have American values, fucking have at it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I appreciate that. I think it's cool to be able to go get Vietnamese food or go to the Vietnamese grocery store, as long as the people that are there are not actively undermining what it means to be an American. Because a lot of immigrants, maybe not the majority, but a lot of immigrants are very American because they've come from, or their parents have come from a place that was communist or just a shithole, and they realize that being an American is a special thing.
So in California, when we talk about immigrants, we're talking about predominantly Mexico, some South Americans, and we're in the trades, and the culture and the attitude this is my experience. These people are the first generation people. They came here from another country illegally, working on trying to be illegal or trying to be legal, sometimes not, whatever the case. And they are some of the most pro-America people ever. They have all the American values.
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to work. I want to create my own business. I want to do better and better and better. I want my kids to go to a good school. I was like, I don't care where you're born. You're an American.
Yeah. If you're actively trying to make America better, then fucking welcome aboard, in my opinion. England, on the other hand, is
they got a different problem. Well, this is funny. Okay, go ahead.
Well, did you remember me mentioning the September 13th thing that's happening in England?
Yeah.
Our next podcast we're going to do on Sunday, which would be, I think, the 7th, which means that'll be the last podcast before this thing happens. I think it's happening on a Saturday. So we're kind of in
prediction.
No, I don't. But I'm very curious to see what happens. I think that here's a prediction. If England has a revolution over this, because that's what people are saying constantly on the internet, which people say things on the internet to try to get clicks and just be sensational. And
really?
Yeah. You haven't noticed this? Yeah. So if you go to YouTube, you'll find a video that says England's civil war has started. There are bodies on the street, in the streets. And you're like, what? And you click on it and it's nothing like that, right? It's just, we need to pass a law that says that the headline cannot be a lie. Well, I noticed Tommy Robinson recently tweeted about the German elections that are coming up. Mm-hmm. I don't know how up you are on German politics.
Fair to Midland.
Okay. So there's a party in Germany called the AfD.
I am familiar with them.
Okay. So AfD stands for Alternative for Germany, I believe.
Totally for Deutschland?
Deutschland, yeah. What do you know about them?
That they're a far-right party and they're a reaction against what is going on, not only in UK, but Germany, the Netherlands, and many other countries in Europe. Pretty much every country in Europe except for Poland, who basically just sealed the country off. And they're like fuck off.
All right, so this is what the ADL has to say about the AfD. Founded in 2013 as an anti-European Union party.
Who's saying this?
The ALD. Well, I wanted to get the
ADL, the American Defense League.
Sorry, ADL.
Right. There's the car.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't want to pull up the article from, the far right, newspaper. Like, let's just hear what the biggest critics of the AfD would have to say about him. Founded in 2013 as an anti-European Union party, AfD has since radicalized and become an extremist anti-immigrant party whose aim is to eliminate the free democratic basic order, according to a 2023 report by the German Institute for Human Rights. So that's not the AfD saying that. That's the German Institute for Human Rights saying that. So this is just like going through one of those fact checks,
Dude, I just recently saw a fact check that 2 different speeches Kamala Harris, I'm sorry, I don't want to pick on your girl here. Okay. But she came out and said that 2 different speeches. She said that, this is during COVID, that so far to date, 220 million Americans have died from COVID.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you fact check that. Like, did she say that?
Oh, no.
Fact check false.
Okay.
She didn't mean that.
Giving her a little charity. Okay. Yeah.
It's like,
she's had a rough year, dude. Let her give her a little break. She's misspoke.
Snopes. You're like if a website had one of those little beanie propeller hats like that, that'd be you guys.
She said 220 million. She meant 220.
David Mickelson, did you write that, or your high-end escort, finger quotes, new girlfriend do that?
AfD leaders have made anti-Semitic, anti-Muslim, and anti-democratic statements detailed below. Ooh, so sounds like they're bringing some receipts.
Okay.
Here, okay. I'm going to skip that paragraph. Why is AfD of concern? Nazi slogans, Holocaust, trivialization, and more. Bjorn Hockey, leader of the AfD party in the state of Thuringia, has twice been fined by German court for using a banned Nazi slogan. You ready for this?
Yes.
The phrase, everything for Germany. Alles for Deutschland. Well, that was, I know, that doesn't sound that bad, but that was a slogan that the Nazi stormtroopers had engraved on their daggers.
Yeah.
So everything for Germany, can't say that anymore. So that is evidence that they're Nazis.
Gotcha.
In a 2017 speech to the AfD Youth Wing, Hoke bemoaned Germans' culture of remembrance of the Holocaust, saying, "We Germans, our people, are the only people in the world who planted a monument of shame in the middle of our national capital." He called for Germany to stop atoning for Nazi crimes and make a 180-degree turn in how it remembers the past. Alexander Guland, an AfD co-founder, former party leader, and current member of the parliament, has engaged in Holocaust trivialization on several occasions. In a 2018 speech to the AfD Youth Wing, he said, "Hitler and the Nazis are just a speck of bird poop in more than 1,000 years of successful German history." Golland also said in 2017 that Germans should be proud of the achievements of German soldiers in 2 world wars. So,
and this is the ADL pointing this out, that it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything wrong with that at all? I mean, he called Hitler and the Nazis bird poop.
Yeah.
A speck of bird poop. But is that really who we are as Germans? Like, is our whole entire history erased because of Hitler, the speck of bird poop of Hitler? Like, we have 1,000 years of things to be proud of, but instead, all we can ever focus on is Nazism. And it's the same thing that we see come up again and again, like racism is the worst thing in the world. People just, whatever you can do to not be racist, you'll do it. You'll lay down on your stomach and lick someone's feet in order to atone for
This
being
is like
called
the people.
a racist.
This is like the people that I want to take to the border in exchange for people from Mexico or South America that want to come here and work and thrive and do better. It's like being at a 4th of July barbecue and you're like, "Hey, you want a hot dog?" I said, "No, you could celebrate. Just given our country's history." You're like, "Just eat the fucking hot dog, get in the pool, just have a good time this afternoon."
In its 2017 election manifesto, AfD asserted that the presence of Muslims in Germany was a threat to the country. Islam does not belong in Germany. The AfD sees the spread of Islam and the presence of over 5 million Muslims, whose numbers are constantly growing, as a great danger to our state, our society, and our system of values.
Do you know what? I don't want to get over my skis here, but we could do a full deep dive. And I've actually wanted to do this, but I want to get Max on because he's kind of our go-to religious scholar. Is people conflate all religions, whether it's you're a Hindu or a Zoroastrianism.
Zoroastrian?
Yes. Or a Catholic or a Christian or a Lutheran or a Muslim. There's one difference between Islam and those other religions if you read the Quran, which I have read actually several parts of it. Do you know what that is?
No, what is it?
Islam is a political system, and
Okay.
other religions are not.
Oh, interesting.
And it specifically spells out in the Quran that they are to grow themselves as a political entity, and it breaks it down into economics, politics, and a couple other things. And it's specifically spelled out, which is why we don't understand here. We don't understand the problem that Europe is having with their basically mass migration of people of the Islam faith coming into.
If you live in Minneapolis,
or if you live in Minneapolis, yeah, for example, same kind of thing. And have you looked at the history of the Muslim Brotherhood?
No.
Which was created by, I'm not going to get his name right, but several decades ago, that basically set these institutions up in the U.S. and Europe specifically to do this, and where it was outlined that they would go and create their own enclave, eschew all Western values, and grow political power. They're like, we're not going to do this by force or by might or by terrorism or whatever it is. Like, we're going to slowly take over the system, which we're seeing in Europe. We just happen to not have it in the year. And they're talking about, like, you guys talk about like immigration in California, right? Something that we see firsthand. You're like, because you guys don't suffer from the same problems that we are seeing in like Ireland and the UK, is because people from Mexico and South America have the same values of us. They basically have American values. They just happen to be born in a different country. Maybe they speak a different language. They listen to different music. They have different food, which is our food, if you live in California, which is awesome. And their music's awesome too, to be honest. It's like, yeah, but they're not coming here from Mexico like, okay, like we're going to set up a completely different culture and it's going to be done intentionally, and planned and coordinated.
I mean, some do. Like, it annoys me when people drive around with Mexican flags on their trucks. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of FU to America from Mexican immigrants, but you're talking about
nowhere near the degree.
It's not a political
over generations.
It's not a political organization like you're talking about here. I mean, you read what he says here. Islam does not belong in Germany, and the AfD sees the spread of Islam and the presence of over 5 million Muslims, whose numbers are constantly growing, as a great danger to our state. Where could he possibly have come up with that crazy idea? Could he be looking around at the rest of Europe and how immigration is just devastating their countries? I mean, England is about to have a civil war. Over it, right? So is that really that out of line?
Well, we're talking about this. It goes back to the point we were talking about earlier, is that the car society, your culture crashes from guardrail to guardrail. And it's like, we're going to do this thing. The reaction that's going to be created due to this other guardrail over here is going to be crazy extreme. And it's like, if you keep going this one way, next thing you know, you're going to have a charismatic Austrian painter all of a sudden leading your country, and you're gonna have some real fucking problems.
I like what you said earlier about how the sharper you turn towards one guardrail, the sharper it's going to turn back. That doesn't make sense in a traffic accident, but it does in terms of what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense that you will see, like, if everyone's going like straight to open borders, like there's going to be a huge reaction straight back the other way. So the AfD has recently had some issues in Germany.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. 6 of the candidates in the upcoming election have died.
Really?
Since the end of August, middle of August. As many as 6 candidates for Germany's far-right, this is from the BBC, Germany's far-right AfD have died in recent weeks ahead of local elections in the big western state of North Rhine-Westphalia. Police have made clear there is no evidence of foul play in the deaths, but it means that new ballots will have to be printed and some postal voters will have to recast their ballots.
Interesting.
4 candidates and 2 backup candidates all died.
Just as we did with the Epstein case, you're like, if you were running Vegas odds, what are the chances of something like that happening?
So what do you think those odds are?
1 in 100 million.
Okay. Well, guess what? A 7th candidate has died. So 7, this is from Britannia Daily.
Does it say how any of these people died?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go back to that last article. The number of deaths, domestic spy agencies.
Read that.
Initial reports centered. AfD co-leader Alice Weidel made no effort to quash the speculation, reposting a claim by retired economist Stefan Holmberg that the number of candidates' deaths was statistically almost impossible.
That's what stood out to me.
And this is before the 7th death, by the way. A couple of them died of a heart attack, and I guess they were overweight, so they were like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But I think I was reading a different article that said how they died. It didn't give a lot of detail. There weren't obituaries, I guess, but 2 of them died from heart attacks, and the other ones died from causes that the police didn't think were out of the ordinary. So fast forward to 2 days ago, and where'd my article go? Here we go. The 7th AfD politician dies days before German local elections as statistically impossible deaths spark controversy. Oh, here it talks about the 7 deaths. Yeah. So Ralph Lang, 66, died. Direct candidate for, I can't read, it's too far away. He died August 28th. Wolfgang Kinger died suddenly. Stefan Bernades died unexpectedly. Wolfgang Seltz died of a heart attack. 3 additional reserve list candidates whose identities have not been...
say they all died from heart attacks and natural illnesses, and 1 candidate reportedly committed suicide. Right.
I'm surprised they didn't all commit suicide. So you can believe that this far right party, who, even according to the ADL, who would give you the absolute worst case scenario of who these guys are, doesn't sound that crazy to me. They just seem like a party that's turning the car back from the guardrail and going in the other direction, which you're seeing all over the place right now. It seems to me like this is a typical, Jeffrey Epstein, 1 in 1 times 10 to the 28th power likelihood of all these people dying before an election, where the people in power are going to lose power to populists.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like to me. And we should pay attention to what's happening in England. I think that if there's a big revolution in England, the rest of Europe for sure is going to take note of that. Hopefully America too.
It'll be what we talked about a while back with the preference cascade. It just takes one person to raise their hand and go like, are we really talking about men and women's sports? And then like 7 out of 10 other people stand up like, yeah. I kind of was just about to say that.
Exactly. I mean, in the United States, we voted for the change, God, how many times we've been duped by hope and change? We're insane people. We keep doing the same thing. We keep voting, expecting it to make a difference. And voting is never going to make a difference. The only way to make a difference is to actually revolt peacefully against the powers that be. You're never going to get there through the ballot box. The only way you're going to get there, in my opinion, is through changing the culture from the ground up. And you have to do that just by showing up, I think.
I think the silver lining, what you're saying, is you have to realize, and what we're seeing in England right now, because the way that they're trying, in the UK rather, is the way they're trying to deal with this, which is kind of like a last kind of ditch effort, is they're jailing people for free speech and posting things online, because this is how people are mobilizing, because it takes, to go back to the preference cascade, is to see enough people saying like, all right, we're not on board with this, right? It's not just me. I'm not, because if I'm looking at mainstream media, I guess I'm just some fringe extremist or whatever. And enough people, you can say like, no, we're all thinking the same thing. Now they're actually putting people in jail for voicing their opinion on social media, like Instagram and X and stuff. They even had a comedian who flew into Heathrow. He was from Ireland.
I saw that.
They threw him into jail. And you're like, that's, as we always say, like the most dangerous pack animal is desperate after you've cornered him. It's like, I got nowhere to go. Like, now I'm just going to go off like a bitch and just start clawing eyes or whatever. That's kind of what this is. You got to realize, like, what places like UK they're holding their hands down on the lid of a boiling pot. I was like, that water's not going to stop boiling. And it's fucking boiling, and it's overflowing at this point.
I hope it fucking turns into something good and not something dark.
Peacefully.
Dude, like I said before, like peaceful protest is the right way to do it, but you're gonna end up seeing agent provocateurs.
Yes.
I mean, they don't have guns there, so
I don't know. UK. I don't think you guys have a capital, but don't go into the capital with your knives.